आवाज आ रही है ये फोनोग्राफ से, ढूंढो खुदा को दिल से, ना लाफो गजाफ से।
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Viewers of MTA Africa, welcome to the second season of Future of Work. In the first season, we discussed a series of educating and interesting topics, broadening our insights and deepening our understanding of how the workspace functions and how it has evolved over time. I'm sure you enjoyed it, and we received your messages requesting for a follow-up season. And so, I'm excited to be back, and even more excited about the topic we're starting with: AI trainers and machine learning experts shaping the future of work. We all know AI is changing the game from how we work to how we learn and even how we interact with the world. But behind every smart system and intelligent solution are real people making it happen. Today, we're talking to two of them. In the studio with me is Rakib Akintunde Akinyemi. Is the incident manager at InterSwish, and also the Sadar, that is the national president of the Majlis Khuddamul Ahmadiyya Nigeria, where is leading young people across the country in service and innovation. Rakib, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
We're glad to have you in the studio today.
Thank you, it's my pleasure.
Joining us virtually is Mariam Murtado. She is a software and machine learning engineer currently working with Morphologic Limited in the UK. She's got a master's degree in AI and is passionate about building smart solutions that actually make a difference. Mariam Sahiba, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
We're happy to have you on the show.
Jazakallah, I'm glad to be here as well.
Before we get into the discussion, we interviewed some individuals to get their opinions and views about the topic of discuss. Let us listen to them together. Their views might be useful in the discussion.
Artificial intelligence, I feel very great about it, although it is very important to note that artificial intelligence is here to stay, and it should not, or let me rephrase and say, it is not going to displace jobs. That is how I feel about artificial intelligence. And I feel it's going to assist a lot. It's going to improve the workforce and give better outputs.
I think it helps us a lot in our daily basis, our daily works actually, because it gives us more about researching of anything we need to do. Like as an engineer or a student, AI helps in education, learning, and so on. So I think it helps us in everything we do actually.
I've said it while I was talking about how I feel about artificial intelligence. I don't think artificial intelligence is going to replace jobs, but it's going to enhance it. Currently, I think in the previous week I was trying to apply for a job, and there is this statement that in my concluding part of the for the application, I reiterated that AI is just going to assist job and not going to replace the job force entirely, but to assist.
As great as AI is in performing routine tasks, it still cannot replicate the emotional intelligence and creativity of human. So what we as human, what we just need is to, learn some skills, some soft skills like problem solving skills, critical thinking, communication, and like collaboration and all that.
Welcome back. Viewers, you have listened to what people have to say about AI, that is artificial intelligence. Now we'll get to know more about artificial intelligence and how it has consistently shaping the workspace and its dynamics. Habib Akib Sahib, first we want you to tell us, what do you think AI, artificial intelligence trainers, what do they do really? And why is their role so important?
All right, thank you once again. An artificial intelligence trainer plays a very critical role in shaping the intelligence systems. And of course, their roles and part of what they do include data curation, annotation, model evaluation, and of course, bias mitigations. Deep diving into these, there are two basic aspects that I would like to streamline their critical roles into. And the first is the technical aspect, and the second is the human aspect. And then looking at the technical aspect, you talk about the data collection and annotation. And then we know that the artificial intelligence models make use or learn from structured data. So which means that the AI trainers, they collect, clean, and label data sets. So as a result of that, they are able to make use of very clean data sets, and through what the models have been able to learn from. And then that is actually under the data collection and annotation. When you now look at model evaluation, is to mean that the AI models, they help in fine-tuning the data that has been learned by the AI model. And then the importance of this is for the AI trainers to ensure that they test and evaluate what the models have presented so that they are able to make use of proper use of data for accuracy and efficiency. In line with this, the AI model sometimes may not have accurate result at first time. So that is why the tests and evaluation are very important as part of the activities that the AI trainers do. The third one is the mitigation of bias and ethical practices. One very important thing is that the artificial intelligence, however intelligent it may be, still needs the interference, the input of human. And then the importance of this is that an artificial intelligence system may not be able to take care of the biases, particularly on ethical practices. That is why human being has to involve in this regard. So those are the three major practical things or activities that are required of any AI trainer, by ensuring that they take care of proper data collection that is clean. And of course, they ensure that they do proper testing and evaluation of data sets, whatever the AI models are presented or that's learned from. And also to ensure that the biases that could impact the emotions, the feelings of people in terms of the outputs that are generated from the AI models are taken care of. So if we leave it to the artificial intelligence alone, then there is possibility that there could be some unethical practices that may not be worked on by AI itself without the human interaction or interference over it.
So it means the AI trainers their role is very important to ensure the efficiency and the accuracy of the artificial intelligence itself.
Absolutely, because they will definitely, after the models have learned certain things, they need to test and evaluate, and then as a result of that, they are able to distinguish what is best output, for the intended results for that particular model.
So what this is telling us is that AI trainers, artificial intelligence trainers, what they do is to first collect data. They collect the data, they bring this data together. They are the ones that give the data to the artificial intelligence. After giving the data to the artificial intelligence, they still come back to evaluate this data that has been given to the artificial intelligence to be sure if the data is correct or not correct. And after that, they also need to look at bias mitigation to ensure that you give the right output at the right time and not give the wrong output at any given time. Mariam Sahiba, having understood what artificial intelligence trainers do and how important their roles are in mitigating the negative effects of the artificial intelligence. So, how do you think these specialists, machine learning specialists, how do you think they contribute to the development of the AI system itself? And what skills are crucial to be able to thrive in this space?
Thank you for the question. One thing we should note is that every role and every person involved in the development of artificial intelligence, our roles, what we have to do are quite interwoven. Just like the AI trainers as well, ML specialists, or more like ML engineers, we are the behind the scene interveners. So what we do is that we ensure the accurate and efficient transformation of raw data into meaningful insights and decision-making tools.
Okay.
We build the models, we train the models, we fine-tune the models that parse everything from recommenders to LLMs, like GPT, for example, to even self-driving cars. So every AI system is made up of models. What we do is build, train, and fine-tune those models. And models themselves, building them involves using algorithms, regression, for example. And these models are built with these algorithms to make them learn from data, right? It means understanding and knowing when to use what concepts. You build these models by writing codes. So to be an ML engineer, you need strong programming skills. Python is a go-to machine language for everybody. And I think it's due to its popularity, its large libraries and frameworks like TensorFlow and PyTorch, for example. And also because it is always updated and it has a large community backup. And it's also readily available and it also simplifies things. For example, we could clean, analyze, and learn from raw data using NumPy and Pandas, for example, before feeding this data into the model that we build. And we should also note that machine learning is not only about writing code, though. You need to understand the story behind whatever data would be fed into your model. Models each model serve, a different purpose. For example, LLMs, you have models like GPT-4.0 or the Gemini models. They don't perform the same thing the models in your self-driving cars would do. So you need to understand what type of data the model would be accepting, understand the story behind this data. You need to be able to spot trends that would help you make better decisions on whatever model you're developing. and determine the best way to fine-tune these models to get the best results. Another important skill I would like to note is problem-solving skills and the ability to search for solutions. There is with the success of AI, there is always a new tech, a new model, a new technology every day. So you need to be able to quickly adapt. When a new thing comes in, you need to be able to, learn it. You need to be able to ask the right questions to get to the solution that you want. So basically, to be an ML and AI engineer, you basically are using technical skills, which includes, like I mentioned, programming skills, mathematical skills, statistical skills, logic, with a knack for storytelling through data.
Wow, that's quite a lot, because it means for anyone to fit into the space of machine learning and AI training means you have to be able to widen your horizon. You must have learned a lot of things, and you must be able to now tell the story of what you have learned in a way that will be understandable, not just by machine, but the way machine will be able to give it out to people. So one thing you said that is very important is that for every data you are giving to the machine, you must yourself know the story behind this data, so that you are able to say, oh, this data is for so purpose or for the other purpose, so that even when similar questions are asked, the machine is able to distinguish between the first and the second question, is able to give the accurate response to every answer that's being asked from the machine. So, and finally, you mentioned that the job of the machine learning experts or machine learning specialists is to first build, train, and fine-tune through the process of evaluation and testing. Am I correct?
Yes, that's accurate.
Okay. Jazakumullah khairan. Thank you very much, ma'am. Rakib Sahih, we have known how the importance of AI trainers. We know what they do. We know what machine learning specialists do, and what kind of knowledge they're supposed to acquire to be able to fit into this space. Now, for you to be able to gather this amount of knowledge, of course, you're going to spend a lot. You're going to spend a lot of time. You're going to spend a lot of resources. But now we need to evaluate and think about, how do you think the demand of AI trainers, how do you think it is growing, and how do you think it is impacting the job opportunities both in Nigeria and globally, so that people will know that, oh, is it worth it going into this space?
All right. So the demand for the AI trainers in Nigeria and the global community is every time increasing. And then because the world is kind of being driven AI-wise, and then as much as people say that there is need for us to automate most of our processes in organizations, in different companies, either you talk about the financial technology industry, or you talk about banking industry, you talk about health systems and the likes, people are tending more towards artificial intelligence, just not beyond automation of processes. And then when you look at this, you see that when you look at the global community, AI-driven companies like Google, like Meta, and so many others like that are now integrating more into AI, and they need AI trainers, people who understand artificial intelligence and its implementation, particularly for the human intervention. And then the demand keeps increasing. And then when you look at that, it has opened job opportunities for people, particularly the young people whose versatility and the ability of being young individuals will make them drive this particular activity of automation very well. And when you look at it in Nigeria, you look at the opportunities around the young people, like the remote job works, the AI-powered startup and innovations that people can come up with, and of course, AI-centered education and skill development. When you look at this particularly, so many organizations in Nigeria, for instance, the organization that you have introduced me that I work out from, just last year introduced a particular hub that they call innovation. So this particular innovation hub was primarily set up to drive most of our processes AI-wise. And then the importance is that as being a leading African financial fintech, it's important that we meet up with the needs of people, and then in a very seamless way. In the financial industry and even banking industry generally, you see a lot of people, and even health systems and so many other organizations, you see people now driving their processes AI way. And then people want to be very convenient in doing certain things that they naturally would go to a physical building to do. But now, with the help of artificial intelligence, they are now automating their processes, AI-driven. And then, of course, not just that, and looking at how important the human intervention will come in, is to say that as much as they are implementing or integrating their systems into AI-driven companies, there will always be the need for younger people or anyone who has upskilled himself in that area to be aware and make himself available for the opportunities that are abound.
So it means the opportunities that are available for AI trainers or machine learning experts are endless.
Absolutely.
So, Mariam Sahiba, so as someone who's been working with artificial intelligence, a specialist in machine learning, so do you agree that the opportunities in this field are endless, or do you think it is kind of limited, especially for people who are looking to go into this field? What do you have to say to them?
I don't think the opportunities are limited. In fact, I think they're endless. Some 15 years ago, there was no job role whose title is AI trainer or machine learning engineer.
Wow.
These are like new roles that are coming up every day, and we still have more that will still come up every day. One of the things that people talk about is how maybe AI is going to displace some jobs. And I tell them, well, yes, it's going to. But at the same time, we need to evolve with artificial intelligence as it's evolving. Jobs like data analysts were not very popular 5-6 years ago, but now there are so many data analysts. So rather than complain about how AI is taking your job, you need to evolve and get AI, learn how to use AI with your jobs, and then you have more opportunities open to you.
Hearing you say that, of course, there are endless opportunities for AI trainers, I feel excited. I feel like jumping, leaving what I'm doing and joining the industry. However, for everything that is good, of course, there will also be the other side to it. So can you tell us probably some of the challenges you think machine learning specialists or artificial intelligence experts or trainers, some of the challenges they face? Can you tell us some of them?
Okay, so I would be picking these challenges from the point of view, the perspective of a machine learning engineer.
Okay.
Okay. So I think the biggest, or maybe one of the biggest challenge that we have is bias and eventually ethics. Like we've mentioned earlier, models are trained with data. Models really, they're useless unless you train them with data. So what happens when this data is biased, right? A couple of times we've seen a diagnostic model. When I say diagnostic, I mean an AI system used in the healthcare sector gives inaccurate result. In a case where that model is trained with predominantly female data, right? Such model could fail when it is used to test male patients and vice versa, right? An AI recruitment tool could also unintentionally favor candidates that that have similar conditions to the data it was trained with. I think this happened some 5 years ago with Amazon, where only the male applicants were moving forward because the data the system was trained with was majorly male data. So it was not given female the same chances it was given the male. So it kind of like raises the question of, is that fair? Is this a fair condition to the marginalized group? Right? And also, who gets the blame? Is it the company using the AI system or the AML engineer in charge of developing the model? Or is it the AI trainer that gathers the data? So these are some of the challenges we have. So what we do is that we try our best to use data that is diverse because it is very critical. We perform bias audits from time to time to, uncover such bias and mitigate them in the long run.
Oh,
And
okay.
then the issue of ethics as well. What happens to the data after it's been used to train the model? Is the data safe? Is it really encrypted? Questions like that. Another challenge we might have is the environment. And I tell you, we don't talk about this enough. Training models uses a lot of energy. There are so many models out there, small, big, and we want them to be very fast. We want them to be as accurate as possible. We also want to deploy them to like millions of users so that they can use it at any time, at any point in the day, right? So training these models uses a lot of electricity. Deploying them uses a lot of electricity. And when users use them as well, it also uses a lot of energy, right? And this is really bad for the environment. So to reduce this, I know firms like Google and Microsoft are they're building these carbon neutral data centers around the world that uses solar energy and HEP, that's hydroelectric power, so that they can reduce the impact of the models. On the end of ML engineers like myself, what we do is that we make sure that we optimize our algorithms in such a way that they require less energy. And then we also advise people not to overuse AI. There are some apps that you see out there. It says AI powered, and it really doesn't really need AI to, serve the users. If you really don't need AI in your system, maybe not use it. And at the pace that new tools are emerging, new technology is emerging every day, that pace can really be dizzying, right?
Okay.
Sometimes back when DeepSeek came into place, we had even though ChatGPT was like the leading LLM, there were talks of how DeepSeek was better and used less energy and things like that. So this simply means that a cutting edge technology today can be easily replaced tomorrow by something more efficient. Right.
Okay.
And it means that we continuously have to learn.
So yeah, I
And
agree with you that we
improve.
need to learn continuously. What I love about what you have just said is the fact that when you talk about some of the challenges, you immediately told us the solutions and what the specialists have been doing to mitigate some of these challenges. This tells us that as much as there are challenges, of course, these challenges are being confronted heads-on, and of course, there is no way we will have challenges. We always meet up. The opportunities in this field are endless. So, Rakib Sahib, what would be your advice for a young professional or student who is thinking or looking forward to going into the machine learning or AI training profession?
The advice for young professionals are basically five. One is to ensure that they master the fundamentals. There are some fundamental knowledge that are very important to understanding or making use of the artificial intelligence. Sometimes when we were in undergraduate schools, we don't take much importance in certain things like calculus, statistics, or algebra, and the rest like that. I can assure you that some of these things really help, and then they are part of the fundamental knowledge that can help us understand the proper knowledge and use of the artificial intelligence. And number two is to ensure that the young professional garner hands-on experience. It's important that you identify people who have adequate knowledge about the artificial intelligence systems and its application properly, and to ensure that you learn from them. And through that, you can also have some kind of beginner projects done, you start from the very lowest to the top. And the very third thing it will be that the young professional should learn proper AI and machine learning skills. And then part of which I will mention clearly is the fear practices, which we actually mentioned around the biases. Sister Maria mentioned that one of the major challenges is the bias mitigation, which I also mentioned earlier as part of what AI trainer does. So the fear practices are part of what is very important in terms of understanding the ethics of practicing the artificial intelligence. And then it's also very important that young professionals stay updated with the trends in artificial intelligence. Okay. And lastly, they ensure that they build strong portfolio and network in ensuring that they share knowledge. Probably there is a community where artificial intelligence knowledge is being shared, the values are being shared, and proper ethical practices are being discussed. So all of these would help every young professional to ensure that they meet up with the need of time, understanding the need of people, and proper implementation with fair practices as expected.
Your advice for young professionals or students who are looking forward to going into the field of artificial intelligence training or machine learning specialism is taken. We'll come back to the 5 things that you mentioned that are very important for every individual looking forward to going into the field to have their hands on. Mariam Sahiba, what would be your advice for someone or a young professional who is looking to take after you and do something similar to what you do?
I think Brother Saib has mentioned it all. Like I said, a lot of these roles are interwoven. But I'd like to add a couple. I think the first thing you should do, the first step is to get your mind prepared. You need to know what exactly you're getting yourself into. So do enough research. And you have to continue learning. You keep evolving as tech is changing. You're changing with it as well. Even with a couple of years, the 3 years of experience that I have, sometimes it's a struggle to keep up. So you need to find, say, newsletters or things like that to help you stay in touch with the trend. Then, like you mentioned, master the basics, right? But I would always tell people, before you even dive into learning the programming languages and how to use AI tools, you should know how to use these AI tools from the perspective of end users. Make sure you know if you're an end user and you're using ChatGPT, make sure you know how it works, how you can give it the best prompts to get the best result. And then you can then dive into the technicalities. You're learning programming languages like Python, then taking libraries and frameworks like TensorFlow and PyTorch in the process. And like you said, build projects. One go-to advice I give everybody that wants to go into artificial intelligence or machine learning engineering is start from a tiny chatbot that you can use for your mom's or your dad's business, right? Because this might be just a tiny bot, but it's going to teach you a lot of things from data processing to your model training and also iterative improvements. You put it online, let people use it and see what challenges you discover while people are using it. Then find a way to mitigate these challenges and repeat the process. Before you know it, you're building a product that people need.
Okay, so Jazakillah khairan, Jazakumullahu khairan. Thank you very much for giving us your insights. These are very important things that we have to do. First, research, then master the foundations, then know the way the end users would do it. That is, when you know how the end users would do it, you know what informations the end users need, and you also know what informations you would give to the machines. So you have mentioned quite a lot of things: build your portfolio, then update your skills all the time, because this is a space that changes every day. So you must also update your knowledge every day so that you do not get outdated. So, however, one thing I feel we must also add is probably getting mentorship. Because especially for professionals like you, should be able to mentor young professionals that are just coming into the field, so that where you have made mistakes, they will not make mistake there. You'll be able to tell them, this is how it is done, and I think they would learn better that way. May Allah May Allah continue to keep you safe. May Allah continue to accept your prayers. We appreciate your invaluable insight in this discussion. Probably someday we'll call you back to have more of what you have, because we know you still have a lot to tell us. Jazakumullahu khairan for your invaluable insight. We appreciate your time and your effort. Rakib Sahib, Jazakumullahu khairan. Maryam Sahiba, Jazakumullahu khairan for giving us your time and your resources. To our viewers, Jazakumullahu khairan for being with us throughout this show. I'm sure you have learned something new and you would want to be with us in the next episode of this show. Till then, if you have comments, questions, or observations, do not hesitate to reach out to us via africa@mta.tv. Till next time, I remain your host, Abdul Qadir Ismail Uluwagbemiga. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
जब तक अमल नहीं है दिले पाको साफ से, जब तक अमल नहीं है दिले पाको साफ से, कमतर नहीं ये मशगला बुत के तवाफ से, कमतर नहीं ये मशगला बुत के तवाफ से।